Let us look at the reported rift between the president and Inec Wike, talking about the FCT minister. Remember that before now, Sarah reporter have tweeted severally about that reported rift, and as we have it, Wike have come out to explain that he didn't attend the Council of State meeting, perhaps because of some other engagements. But another thing is, he didn't explain whether actually he had a nominee for the position of the Inec chairman or he didn't have. But the question here is, the Sarah reporter has previously tweeted severally in a video that actually confirmed that Wike did not attend that meeting because...
Honorable Minister of State. Some of you who arrived earlier would have seen the Honorable Minister of State in situ, but the Honorable Minister has requested her to attend the Council of State meeting, and in order for her not to be late, this is why she departed quite early before the minister arrived.
At some point, we saw evidence for Sarah reporters saying that despite denial, that video evidence showed that he didn't attend the meeting, that he merely sent his SCT Minister for State to represent him. But in what looked like confirming the position of Sarah reporters, Wike is now coming out to explain the reason he didn't attend. I will allow you to listen to him shortly, because what we'll do here is to present the fact to you and allow you to do your own personal appraisal on any issue that is happening in the country. This is from the point of view I must tell you. He's saying why I was absent at the Council of State meeting. Wike. Going further, he says the SCT minister, yes, Wike, has explained his absence at his recent Council of State meeting, where Professor Joash Amupita was nominated as Inec chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission. The minister stated this during the commissioning of the access routes in Sector Center B, the Kibiyu district in Abuja on Tuesday. Wike explained that he had directed the Minister of State, Dr. Maria Mahmood, to represent him at the meeting, while he attended to previous engagements already put in place, describing reports that he declined to attend the meeting because the nominee for the position of Inec chairman was ignored as unnecessary. But the question here is, he's not addressing whether he actually had a nominee, but he just merely said that it is unnecessary, alluding to the fact or speculating that his absence was because his nominee was not accepted. But we understand that it's the president that had the prerogative to determine who to nominate, and the role of the Council of State is merely advisory. But the question here is, he only described it as propaganda and blackmail. But he said sometimes last week, Thursday, we had a flag off, and I told the Minister of State, FCT, to represent me at the Council of State meeting. I had already told Mr. President that I will not be available because of other engagements we had already put in place. So the Honorable Minister of State represented the FCT in that meeting. Let me stop there for now. But the question here is, Nigerians are already reacting to this very issue. I'll bring you the reaction of Nigerians for us to have a sense of what we are discussing, because we all normally sample opinion of people and get their reaction, especially from different social media platforms. And as we have it, I'll bring you up to speed with what Nigerians are saying. Of course, this one is coming from a Twitter handle that goes by the name of course, Julius. He said, Wike's power play are a distraction from Tinubu's economic reforms. He said, focus on the nation, not regional grudges. I think Nigerians are looking at that. Let us equally look at another tweet. This one is coming from a Twitter handle that goes by the name of Big Show. He's saying, Wike's willingness to challenge presidential decision in vital government appointments shows a dangerous disregard for hierarchy. That is actually from another Twitter handle. The question is, I won't say reaction from Nigerians, but the issue here is, I think in the light of what came from the president previously, talking about what a Wike could do or may do, that he will be crossing the red line. You're going to say that Mr. President have a red line that any of his appointees must not cross. Because we understand that when Wike went to him to request that the SCT be removed from the TSA, talking about single treasury accounts, that the president in a job, according to the president, told him that if in the event that things go too much in his favor, that he lose his job. He's going to show that actually the president is in charge, he knows his onion, and he knows when to fire any of his appointees. And that's going to show that a Wike have got to be careful if he must not have issues with his principal. Because it doesn't matter the opinion of anybody, it doesn't matter how you look at it, the president is Tinubu himself. And a Wike is an appointee that is serving in the cabinet of Tinubu. So if he crosses the red line, from what we are seeing, he can get fired. We understand that Wike is like his foot soldier currently, looking at what played out in Rivers State recently, looking at how they have been able to take full control of Rivers State. It's going to show that they are working in good relationship. They have good relationship. However, in politics, they say the only thing that is permanent is interest. There's no permanent friend, there's no permanent enemy. So with what we are seeing, if actually all the reports coming from Sahara reporters, all the speculation from individuals is anything to go by, it's going to show that at some point, if there is not taken, the man Wike may fall out with the president of course, Senator Bola Tinubu. Another issue has to do with as we go into the election of 2027 proper, as events that will shape that election begin to set in. It's becoming clear that if there is not taken, the people are already realigning for the purpose of 2027. We understand that currently Wike is having total control of the PDP. There's no doubt about that. But the problem now is there's speculation that Jonathan may contest the election. As I can clearly see from the statement that came from his cousin. And apart from his cousin, we have seen, of course, Jerry Ghana, who came out clearly to say that definitely Jonathan will contest the election. But the question here is, considering the relationship between Jonathan's family and a Wike in person, will a Wike still work confidently and comfortably with Tinubu in the light that Jonathan throws his hat into the ring? Consider the fact that even the Tinubu himself is a tactician, a strategist, who know that Jonathan's family played pivotal role in Wike's life, in his political journey. But we understand that it been reported and believe his supporters that Jonathan's wife, Patient, played a pivotal role in Wike's becoming the governor of Rivers State at the time he governed that state. Apart from that, Wike once served as Minister of Education for State under the last administration of President Goodluck Jonathan. So their relationship is not in doubt that they have intimate relationship. But the question here is, in the light that Jonathan throws his heart into the ring, can a Wike sustain his loyalty to the man Tinubu, or will he have a divided loyalty? And if he does have a divided loyalty, how will a Tinubu view that? Because we understand that the Nigerian politician, what they deserve, what they require is absolute loyalty. Loyalty that does not have any iota of doubt. So that's why I'm saying that if there is not a king, a Wike may have issues with the president. If Jonathan definitely decides to throw his hat into the ring. Because without even a Wike pledging allegiance, or even having some level of sympathy for Jonathan, insinuation out there will always point at that direction. So maybe perhaps that's the reason we have seen different stakeholders advising Jonathan that he should not venture into the race. We have seen so many advice, even unsolicited advice, asking the man to retire in peace. But beyond who even contests, beyond who is popular, I want to say that we need an electoral act that is good enough to give us free, fair, and credible election. I understand that currently the National Assembly is already coming up with the amendment of the Electoral Act. where they are proposing that, of course, they want to bring the election closer to ensure that the election is conducted 6 months before the current holder of the office, his tenure expires. A second issue has to do with, of course, the mode of transmission of election results. Talking about Section 60, Section 5 of that Electoral Act that they are tinkering on to ensure that they make it compulsory that election results must be transmitted electronically. But the question is, even if that amendment says true, are we saying that the president of Nigeria, Senator Bola Tinubu, will be magnanimous enough to sign it into law? Because we understand that after the amendments, you need presidential assent for it to become a law. And if the president declines his assent, though he communicates the National Assembly, but the question is, will the National Assembly have the courage to override the president? Because the National Assembly have overriding power when a president declares assent. And we have seen instances in the past when even a president will declare assent and the National Assembly want to override the president will even go to court to challenge their approach. I think in that instance, the case dragged, lingered until the expiration of that administration. So it is a very dicey situation. It goes to show that Nigerians cannot be guaranteed, cannot be sure that they will have a brand new or a robust electoral act that will usher that election in 2027. But the point is, for us to have free, fair and credible election come 2027, we need some level of amendment to that electoral act. We need to reduce human interference. We must ensure that the mode of transfer of election results is done electronically. Now, I want to say that the very reason we saw PDP and its candidate in the 2023 presidential election, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, Labour Party and its candidate, Mr. Peter Gregory Obi, challenging the election up to the Supreme Court in that after that 2023 presidential election, was simply because the election results were not transmitted electronically. We all decided that at the nick of time, prior to that 2023 presidential election, when Inec will come up with their guidelines, they made us understand that they were going to transmit the election results electronically. Though they reneged at the nick of time, gave excuse on network glitch. I must say that Nigerians, including myself, were not satisfied that there was a genuine network glitch. But the question now is, are we sure that even if they succeed in amending this electoral act, that the president will assent to it? That's another big question. But beyond that, I'm even having an opinion that even the period they are allotting for the cases in court, talking about electoral matters to be dispensed in court, talking about 90 days, reducing it from 180 days to 90 days, I want to say that it is grossly inadequate. Even the 180 days is grossly inadequate. And it's not their intention that they wanted to have a situation where all the litigation arising from election is dispensed from court before proper swearing in. But the question is, the 90 days is grossly inadequate because we are talking about an election that will take place in 774 local governments. And of course, before you finish proving your case, if you want to start calling for vote recount in areas you are dissatisfied with the result, the time is not there to do that. This is a developing story. There are so many things to discuss about it, but I must say very big thank you for your time. For now, this is a good place to let it go. This is Satellite Ghana, Mr. Martin.